What's up everyone, it's me, the action figure freak once again with the first Star Wars Sunday this year. Yes, we're starting with some Star Wars Black Series unboxings for the next few months. A little longer than May the 4th, but yeah, we're doing a few each week. And starting off with the first one this year with Darth Sidious from Revenge of the Sith. Let's get this thing open. And here he is, right out of the box, giving it a quick 360 as always before I put my fat fucking fingers all over the figure. And I gotta say, from this point on, looking pretty good already. Like, these cloth capes on Black Series figures, they are just amazing. And that on a pretty cheap level, as it seems. But yeah, at first, as always, let's take a closer look at the articulation. So, to the articulation of this figure, what do we have here? So, the cloak here on his coat is actually bonded to the figure. So, there isn't really head movability. I can see they used, just slightly, they used a double neck joint, which is pretty good. But as I've said, and as you can see, it's not really possible to move. I'll break the figure then. But yeah, what else do we have here? We have the pretty basic Black Series articulation as it seems. So we get the swiveled shoulders, we get the swiveled elbows, we get a vertical hinge on the left hand, and yeah, as well as on the right hand, which is pretty good. Let's move his coat up a little bit. And as you can see there, we get the lower hip swivels. Since these are not visible, they are actually some of the best moving Black Series hip swivels I've ever seen. These moving pretty good. Then we get the pretty basic leg articulation, kind of limited because of that part here, but I'm not minding it too much. And then that's pretty bad. Get the upper leg swivels and swiveled one-jointed knees. Come on, guys. This figure is already in a cloak. You can't move the head. And they decided to be a menace once again and giving us one-jointed swiveled knees on this. I mean, he's not moving too much, but like, you know the fight of Revenge of the Sith with Yoda, where he's jumping and leaping around all the way. Could be hard to pose stuff like that with that kind of like articulation, but maybe the accessories are a little better. And speaking of accessories, we get the ultimate power. Oh my god, these are some of the coolest accessory pieces. So, as you can see on the horizontal hinge on these hands, there's a kind of blue tone going through. So these are all in the blue clear plastic, and the white color scheme here of his skin tone is fading into these electric blasts. This is a really cool accessory piece. I'll do a quick pose with that a little later in the video. But yeah, that's a really cool accessory piece. Then of course we get the beautiful Darth Sidious lightsaber. As always, you can detach a saber part from the handle, which is pretty cool. And since the whole cloak is made out of cloth, we can kinda portray the scene of the movie where his lightsaber handle is here on his wrist. Can we? Yeah, kinda. So we can pull it into here, then shoots out of there. Really cool that we can do that. Really nice. And as I always say, for characters that carry weapons or swords and anything that you can hold, they should have horizontal hinges. Every grabbing hand should have horizontal hinges. And they actually did it on both hands, even though he just has one lightsaber. So that is really, really cool. But yeah, let me take a quick pose with the electric pieces. And yeah, then I'll drop a rating. Okay, maybe I should have checked my balls, but my room is probably way too cold. These hands were hella work to get out. They were like stuck in there, really hard to get out. But yeah, that's the quick pose. My recommendation for poses like that, always make the hands look a little up or a little down so you can kind of see the length of these. But I think they look absolutely cool. Even if we go into another pose, like he mostly shoots them really gentle, not a power pose like from down there, like that. It looks freaking amazing. And just let me look at the face paint. I mean, like, that menacing evil face. Holy, that's amazing. So yeah, all in all, we almost get everything out of that figure. Like, I could talk about details, but like, we get that kind of cloth, we get that kind of cloth, we get his cloak, and like, that little piece on the front here. It's not much detail, nothing much possible. But yeah, I'm pretty happy having a Darth Sidious in my collection. Also just ordered another one, the one with the Death Star chair. I don't know, the Death Star chair looked pretty cool and was on sale. But yeah, rating 1 to 10, what would I give this figure? Let me think for a second. So this figure on a rating 1 to 10 gets a solid 5.5, maximum a 6, but I would say 5 out of 10, or 5.5, because like, it's a really cool figure, don't get me wrong on that. So for that, it's a really, really good figure. My biggest issue with that is, first up, Hasbro is inconsistent. I love Hasbro, at least for the variety of characters that we get, also throughout Marvel, but Black Series got the worst articulation of all Hasbro, I would say. Like, they updated it sometimes, but they're inconsistent in doing that on all their figures, as you probably know already. I think it's pretty bad that we don't get wired capes. Like, on Marvel Legends, they just sneaking into cloth capes, but they don't want to try too much, which is kind of understandable on a few parts, but we're not talking about Marvel now. I think for Black Series figures, they should introduce these wired capes. Like, Jedi Toys can do that on a low price like that. And his cloak here wouldn't be an issue. He could move his head freely. And that's one of the biggest parts why I give this a low rating like that. We have a double-sided neck joint, and we can't move the head. Like, a few millimeters, okay, I understand that, but even if I just pull on the chin, like, getting it into a direction like that, and yeah, I don't want to damage the figure, like, with taking the nose with my fingernails. I think that's a little bad. Also, these one-jointed knees, bro, you can't do that. We are in big 2025, and they giving us one-jointed, swiveled knee joints. Like, take one clone into a kneeling pose. It's almost impossible. I think that's really stupid. But we get, like, all the necessary accessories. We get 2 interchangeable hats, hands with the charging parts, with the electrocution stuff. We get the lightsaber. I think that's really good. But as I said, a bit better of articulation would be good, but it gets some plus points for the good face scan, for the cloth parts here, and for the vertical hinges on both the grabbing hands. That's pretty good. but that shouldn't be something I would be happy about. Like, that should be normalized. But yeah, 5.5 out of 10. It's a good looking figure. Gets a rating like that because of the good looks, but as I've said, there's too much wrong with it. But since that's pretty much all for today, I hope you could like and subscribe for more like this. And yeah. Have an awesome day. Now it's finally time to say, action out.